Passes last year. This one's knocked up. Bowers tips it to himself, and he'll score.
Snaps it anyway. Greer lobs it in the air. Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the left. This year. Here's a blast, and Klubnik didn't see it coming. He got blasted by Kalen DeLoach, who has the ball and is heading toward the end zone.
What is going on, guys? It is college football talk. As always, with Hunter and Dylan. We are on episode 42, almost to 50.
Yeah.
And today is Tuesday's week 7 recap. As we get looking or talking about all the action that happened this past Saturday before Thursday's show, as usual, where we talk about what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah. I mean, you hit it right on. Blah, can't speak. Too late. You hit it right on the nail. I mean, it was a weird week of football. I don't know how you felt about this weekend, but
in a lot of ways, it felt like everything I kind of thought it was. But there was also, some games that were a lot different than how I thought.
Yeah,
we'll just leave it like that. I mean, there were some games that were just boring and some that were good. The noon slate was boring, except for Georgia making things still too interesting in Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I would say we took care of business personally.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, Nashville's one of those places you just want to get in and out. And
you can ask Florida.
I blame
one place to go to.
No, it's not, and I blame Drake too because he was wearing that Georgia sweatshirt. And look what happened now. Barely sneak out with a 17-point win, and Bowers is hurt. So thanks for that. Plus, other guys are hurt. But thanks a lot, Drake.
And I come on, don't blame Drake.
No. Anyway, we have got a loaded show, so we will hop right into it as always. But actually, before we do, make sure you guys are subscribing. We are still trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. We are at 62. We are looking for more. So if you guys know anybody, tell them to subscribe. It's free. Just hit that button and subscribe. It's free and you don't have to do anything. You just subscribe and it looks good for us. It benefits us. It means that the more subscribers we have, the more likely our videos are going to be more to the top of the screen than they are in the middle to the bottom.
Yeah.
And you guys are, as always, are viewing, liking. We love that. Yeah. Last week's week 6 recap had a record high in views for the channel. We appreciate that, guys. It's awesome. It means that you guys are watching and liking it. This past episode was good too, but keep it up. But we need subscribers.
We do love the interaction.
Yes. So make sure you guys are subscribing, because I guarantee you 81 of you who viewed it, half of you are not subscribed probably. I can go check too, but just subscribe and subscribe on Spotify as well. So we will hop right into it as we always do with, I believe, both of us can agree, game of the year, maybe candidate. I thought so going in.
For this rivalry specifically, the best game of all time.
For sure. It was the first time these two teams were in the top 10 beating each other. This was, I thought, could possibly be game of the year candidate from a few weeks back, just how both these teams operate.
Yeah.
And it certainly did not disappoint. Washington beats Oregon in a classic Pac-12 college football game, just in general. 36-33. So much to talk about in this one. I mean, from how good both quarterbacks played, how good the receivers played for both teams, defenses on both sides making plays.
Mhm.
Just overall, just what a game. What's your initial like thought about this one?
You know, my initial thought would be is that Oregon sold at the end there. I mean, look, there was just a couple of coaching mistakes. I think it really costed them that game.
Are you referring to the fourth downs?
I am referring to the fourth downs.
So I think if you break them down,
hmm
so I think the one before halftime,
Yeah.
when I believe they were around the inside the 10, I
hmm
believe they were around the 6 or 7-ish. But that time, I would maybe think about it, kicking the field goal. I would maybe lean more towards the field goal.
Yeah.
Was it the opening of the third quarter when they went down the field and then didn't get it again?
Yeah.
I think one of those two times you have to kick a field goal. The fourth down at the end of the game, I have no issue with. I was saying myself, I'm like I would have done the same thing. You're on the road,
Yeah.
you're an underdog, but not that much, but you're an
hmm
underdog. If you get it, it's 4th and 3. You get it, you put the knockout blow in them because they don't have
hmm
a timeout. They don't have any timeouts. There's 2 minutes left. You run the clock
Yeah.
out. So I have no issue with it. I thought the play call wasn't good. I mean,
hmm
it was kind of predictable. I mean, they just shifted everyone to the left and did like a bootleg to try to get it. I would have done something more like a short little, maybe like a little screen, just someone come across the middle,
Yeah.
or just get like a tight end or running back going outwards. Get the 3 or 4 yards, call it, get the first down.
hmm
So I had no issue with that. Did you not like any of the calls? Would you have punted there because they scored 2 plays later?
I mean, I feel like in that situation, I kind of would punt because at that point in the game, you're all about like field position, right?
So
Oregon's offense, even though you have a great defense, Oregon's offense can score on your defense.
I would counter that by saying if you do that, so Washington scored in 2 plays.
hmm
If you punt it, and they end up marching down the field, you don't have any time left. At least
Yeah.
they scored and you had time left. Bo Nix got the ball back, went all the way down the field and gave them a shot to tie it and send it overtime. He missed it.
Yeah.
So, you play devil's advocate with that, I think, by
hmm
saying, what happens if you punt it there and you have a 4-point lead? Do you trust your defense enough, who was already down, who had one banged up corner that went back in, another one left, so you're already
hmm
down, guy. And do you trust your defense to make a stop there to a offense that's
I
just been humming?
I feel like you have to there. I mean, that's just me personally. I'd be like, if we're sitting in this situation or we're like, okay, there's a 50-50 chance we get this first down.
Yeah.
In fact, with some of our play calling, let's be honest, it's like a 35% chance. So we can either trust our defense, give them as good a field position as we can give our defense, or we can run the gamut and probably give them
Yeah.
a way easier chance of scoring. I just feel like, obviously, it's looking back. It's obviously with the view of hindsight, I can say, oh, you should have punted it. But even then, I feel like, to me, punting it makes the most sense there.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to stick with I just think
Yeah.
that was that kind of that risk wasn't big enough to where
hmm
I'm thinking about the afterthought. I don't know how I just worded that. I'm just saying, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
I had no issue with it. Again, like I'm going to say, you're playing to win. If you get
hmm
it, you put you put the final blow in.
Yeah.
You're going home with a win. If you don't get it, well, you still got the ball back and you had a chance to tie it and you missed the kick.
hmm
I had more with the first or second time. So it was mostly the one before half because they didn't get any points there. Washington, gets momentum,
Yeah.
holds. The second time they didn't get it, it ended up not biting them in the butt because Michael Penix threw a pick a couple plays
hmm
later. So they got the ball back and I believe they scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
So they even ended up getting the lead back after they were down, I think 11.
I think you're
And
right.
it was
Yes, I think you're right.
29-18 at that point.
Hmm.
But listen, you can. I don't. I just think that. Listen, Dan Lanning, he's a young guy.
Hmm.
This is his first coaching job, second year. This is all about learning from the mistakes. Even he acknowledged it. They're an aggressive team. They're going to live and
Yeah.
die by that. You don't back down for what you are. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So you're built on that. I was looking at the stats after the game, and remember in our preview last week how I said the big pad stat was going to be if Oregon could stay on the field
Hmm.
because of how bad Washington's third down defense is. Oregon 10 of 16 on third downs. But Washington was only 5 of 11, but 0 of 3 on fourth down. Washington was 2 of 3, including a
Hmm.
huge one they had late in the game. Oregon had 541 yards to 415 for Washington, 31 first downs to 24. They ran for 204 yards. Washington only ran for 99.
Yeah.
They had more time in possession, Oregon did. Everything leaned their way, but listen, Michael Penix was just on a different level
Yeah.
down the stretch.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Bo Nix was, everything was good about this game. There was you're just picking hairs about maybe a
Hmm.
play or two that could have happened, but listen, that's football. I think
Yeah.
you can always go back to any game and try to dissect everything that happens. But listen, at the end of the day, two great teams played a great game,
Hmm.
and it should have been honestly a coin flip, but Washington got a huge win, and now they are in the inside track to be one of the teams in. Not saying they are. They are a lock to get into the Pac-12 title game. A lot of people are thinking this is a rematch waiting to happen, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
But just how the Pac-12 operates, you never know. This
I
is
mean,
because
it.
we're starting to get into cannibalistic territory, as I like to
Mhm.
call it. Because these teams, I'm telling you right now, Oregon State looks good, very good. They had a great win this past weekend against UCLA.
Yeah.
USC stumbled. We'll see how they bounce back.
Hmm.
If Utah can get Cam Rising back at some point, look out. Their defense plays well enough to keep them in games, and if their offense is manageable enough, they're fine.
Yeah.
This is a wide open. I think it's people. I don't know about how you think, but I just think that if people are rushing to just saying that these two teams are going to play again, I'd pump the brakes just a tad.
Yeah. I don't 100% agree that both teams are guaranteed to play each other at the end of the year. I mean, especially Washington and Oregon still have most of their Pac-12 schedule to play.
They still have you. Both the teams still
Hmm.
have USC. I know
Yeah,
Oregon still has a trip to Utah. They still got to go to.
Oregon. Both teams have to play their in-state rivals too at the end of the year. And I mean,
That Washington State game is not going to look as fun because
yeah.
boy, oh boy, did Arizona put it on them this weekend.
And Oregon State's not going to be an easy challenge for Oregon either.
No. Luckily, Oregon gets it at home this year. They blew it last year at Oregon State, but they get it home.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing is guaranteed, especially in this conference.
Yeah, and I would say if any team, I think Washington has the best shot. But the thing is, I think people are forgetting that Notre Dame does not play in the Pac-12, so USC is still 4-0 in conference.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I
Because
mean,
USC is
it's
still in the
yeah,
driver's seat right now. If the season ended today, it would be Washington and USC.
yeah. And I mean, all things considered, USC kind of has of those teams one of the easier schedules remaining too. I mean, they get to go to California. They get UCLA at home. Their
But
hardest games are Washington and Oregon, and I think Utah
well, you
without
still
Cam
get.
Rising won't be as hard for them.
I don't know that I'm just saying if
Hmm.
the defense is going to keep them back. Just say
But yeah, it could, but we'll see. I
we'll
do
see.
think even with Utah's like their offense is just not good.
No, it's definitely a liability, but
Yeah.
I think speaking of USC, I think we just hop right into it.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's hop right into it.
Mhm.
So, Notre Dame destroys USC
Yeah.
this weekend. You know, um, not how people thought, or at least I thought. Dylan's
Mhm.
gonna have. He's already ordered his Notre Dame shirt.
Yep.
If you watched last episode, we made a
It's
bet.
coming.
If I won Notre Dame shirt for Dylan,
Mhm.
he has to get a Notre Dame shirt, and if USC won, I'd have to get a USC shirt and wear it for the next show. So, but Notre Dame won by 28. Felt bigger than that.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's just not how I anticipated it, if we're
Mhm.
being honest. Notre Dame really favored from great defense and short great starting field position. Because
Yeah.
they did I don't know where a stat would be if their average starting field position was. It felt like all night though they started at least from like the USC 35, 45-yard line. Like they were in USC territory all night for it looks like they started
Mhm.
from. Mainly because USC turned the ball over 5 times. Included
Yeah.
3 picks by 3 first quarter picks, first quarter, first half picks by Caleb Williams, who
Mhm.
entering coming into the season from last year had only thrown 3 picks. So
Yeah.
he matched that from just one game,
Mhm.
and then they turned the ball over a couple times later in the fourth. They fumbled it. He had a fumble too. Xavier Watts for Notre Dame played one of the best individual defensive games I've seen in a while from somebody on the
Mhm.
defensive side. He was responsible for 2 interceptions of Caleb Williams. He also had a fumble recovery, 7 tackles, 6 of them were solo.
Yeah.
Just all over the field. Here's one. Here's a little fun stat for you.
Okay. Let me
USC's
hear.
offensive line, which I think has struggled a little bit this year. You know, you kind of
Yeah,
get
they're not as good as they were last year.
yeah, and you get lost with Caleb Williams
Mhm.
moving around a bunch, making the fancy plays. I mean, they haven't been a whole very good this year. I mean, they haven't had to really been impacted too much from it because of the competition they've played.
Yeah.
But I mean, they gave up 6 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. Just not good.
Mhm.
I mean, Caleb Williams only 199 yards. He threw 3 picks. He had the 1 touchdown. It was not very good. But flip side, you know, Notre Dame, if I told you just USC outgained Notre Dame in these following categories. First downs, 23 to 13. Third down, 6 of 13 to 3 of 10. 302 yards to 251 yards in total offense.
Yeah.
199 to 126 in passing. And had a 9 minute greater margin in time of possession. You would have probably thought
I would have said
USC.
USC would have won.
Yes.
I would have said, "Where's your shirt?"
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because you said this was going to be they were going to score 30 on him, right?
Mhm.
But I said, and I got to give credit. I think USC's defense played as well as they could,
Yeah.
but just got put in terrible spots because you turned the ball over 5 times.
Mhm.
You're just asking for trouble. You can't
Yeah.
do anything about it, and then eventually the dam breaks. It can only hold the water down for so long before it cracks and breaks. And then that's just when everything kind of went downhill. It was
Mhm.
24-6 going into half. It was an ugly game for USC all around.
Yeah.
They scored a touchdown, and then Notre Dame returned a kickoff. So just a bad one. Great atmosphere again, though.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to ask you this: for Marcus Freeman, how big of a win do you think that was for him? Because he hadn't
Oh,
had that
massive.
he hadn't had that kind of win yet. He blew
He
it.
had
He lost it against
yeah.
Ohio State, but
Both years. He
yeah,
lost against Ohio State. Last year he lost to USC. He hadn't beaten I mean, what was his biggest win at that point?
like Clemson.
Navy? No, he didn't
Maybe
coach against Clemson.
that was 2 years. That was two. That
That
was
was
a year
that was
before him.
Brian Kelly.
So, I mean, at the going into the game,
Mhm.
probably. I mean, probably Duke.
Duke. Yeah,
Trying
repeat
to. I
that
mean,
to yourself right now. Marcus
maybe
Freeman's
this.
best win was
Maybe
Duke.
the. I mean, or maybe the bowl game last year because of how South Carolina ended the year, and Notre Dame won
I
that
mean,
one.
yeah, I guess but either of those aren't the most impressive.
But he finally got a signature top 10 win.
Yeah. And I think it was more impressive to me because Sam Hartman didn't do anything special either. It wasn't like he went out there and
Lit the world up on
lit
fire.
lit up USC's defense. Like I
Yeah.
think we both kind of thought he would still. I thought they would win, but I thought Sam Hartman would still play well. I mean, he didn't do anything special in this game.
No.
I mean, how many yards did he throw for again? Like 130 yards?
126.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I mean, yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, penalties wise, and USC got caught with 75, 9 penalties for 75. Notre Dame only had 5 penalties. So,
mhm,
yeah, it's just the turnovers. Turnovers are always going to bite you in the
yep,
ass. Excuse my language.
I
But,
agree.
I mean, that was it. I mean, if Caleb Williams just did not play well,
Mhm.
and I think, what you're going to say?
Nothing. I mean, I'm just yeah, no,
It's
it's
bad.
just shocking to me. That's how they lost.
Because I thought maybe they would have some, Caleb Williams is going to
Mhm.
put points up, but I mean,
Yeah.
they shut them down,
Mhm.
which is, I always thought, why is Notre Dame not favored going into this? I was just like, their defense is much better.
Yeah.
They're going to out physical them
Mhm.
they're going to physically outbeat them, match them. I mean, it kind of showed. I
But
mean,
I don't. The thing is, I don't think Notre Dame's defense looked crazy better than how USC's defense looked in that game.
they limited the explosive plays.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, they forced turnovers.
Mhm.
I mean, Lloyd, the running back, only ran for 45 yards, 46
Yeah.
yards. They
Eight carries
limited
though.
the
Yeah.
just completely neutralized the offense. I mean,
Mhm.
Taj Washington, who was their leading receiver going in, had 1 catch.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, no, he had 4 catches.
Mhm.
How about Zachariah Branch? 2 catches for 17 yards. Nothing. Completely neutralized him.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, here's the thing. If I'm a USC fan, I do think there is some positive things to take note of in this game, right? Number one, the defense looks better,
yeah,
like significantly better. I mean, just looking at the numbers, they held Notre Dame's offense for 3 for 10 for first downs, 250 total yards. Um, Obviously, part of that is Notre Dame getting great field position. But the fact that USC was able on defense to stop them on third down at times, and Notre Dame never went for it on fourth down. So third down stop actually meant something in this game for a little bit.
yeah. Can they? I'm going to ask you. Can they
Mhm.
continue? Can they keep up with that though?
I only believe they might just because if they don't, Alex Grinch will lose his job.
Really though, because I feel like we
Yes.
should have lost it already a long time ago.
No, I think there was a while there where Lincoln Riley was protecting him from getting his job like taken away. But after like the last couple games, I think it was like, hey, fix it or you're fired.
Yeah,
Like he's losing control there from
like
administration.
the Brian Ferentz thing.
Yeah.
All right,
Hey, I really want to know what happens with that because he's not going to make it.
I
They're
before
not
we get,
reaching that
bef-
point total.
before we get too
Hmm.
far off topic, I saw a tweet. It said, uh, Iowa is um more likely. Iowa is so likely to win out,
Hmm.
play in the go like 11-1,
Yep.
and playing a Big 12 title and playing the Big 10 championship.
Mhm.
It was just no. Let me rephrase that. It's like, can you imagine if Iowa wins out, plays in the Big 10 title game, somehow wins it, and then goes on to play in like the playoff, averaging like 16 points a game?
I think that's more likely than them
They're
reaching the
going.
points total.
They're going to win out and
Mhm.
have one loss, two
Yeah.
losses, one
One
loss.
loss. One loss. Here's the thing,
They
they played the worst schedule ever to finish
they
the
have
year.
Rutgers, Northwestern,
Mm.
Illinois, and Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't play a single team above
they
500
beat
outside of
Wisconsin
Rutgers.
15-6 as a 10-point dog.
All I'm saying, man, I said Iowa was going to win this game, and they were going to do it throwing
That was
less
so
than 10
funny,
passes. They were going to make it
so funny.
brutal to watch. It's going to
Shout
hurt your
out to
eyes.
Duke. They completed 4 passes and won by like 3 touchdowns. So, but we're gonna move on now because before we get too off topic,
They had 37 passing yards.
it's so bad. They have not, it's not even McNamara.
It's Deacon Hill.
Oh man, it's
You ever
bad.
heard of Deacon Hill? Iowa
It's
football legend.
oh man, it's bad. It's bad. All right. Which game do you want to talk about? Tennessee or the Florida game?
I didn't see the Florida game, so if we're gonna talk about it, I don't really have anything of note to say.
Well, let's do Tennessee first then,
Okay.
because then I'll talk about Florida after.
Okay.
So, Tennessee
hmm
in a defensive battle
Yeah.
against A&M on checkerboard day at
Mhm.
Neyland, wins 20-13. A very low scoring game. The under hit. I cashed
Mhm.
on that big time. Under 56. That was the under or the total for that game going in. So
Yep.
anyway, but a lot of just a lot of poor execution in this game. Really
Mhm.
was biggest thing. Tennessee had a lot of chances to blow this thing open
Yeah.
and had multiple times they either turned the ball over or didn't get it on 4th down. I know they failed to convert on 4th down at least twice.
Mhm.
They did not, and then then Milton threw a pick near the red zone. That was they had a missed field goal.
Yep.
Just just an ugly game. But vice versa to that, vice versa, the Texas A&M Aggies didn't really do anything either. They
They didn't do Jack Diddley do.
no
I
no.
mean, that I got I dude. I'm just gonna straight up say, Texas A&M has a horrible offensive line.
Oh, it's bad.
Like,
Bad. To be
like
fair,
it's
to be fair, I
mhm.
will give credit where credit's due with Tennessee
Yeah. No,
because
absolutely. I mean, they
Tennessee
played a great game plan to beat A&M.
because Tennessee's defensive line
Mhm.
is very good.
Yeah.
As my computer sounds like a jet taking off right
Oh,
now.
mine too right now. Don't worry.
Just bad. Just bad. Let me try to see. They they get after the quarterback. They rank
Yeah.
3rd in the country right now in
Yeah.
sacks.
Mhm.
Sacks. They're averaging 4 a game, which is funny because A&M is right there at 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, 24 sacks on the year, very good.
That is pretty good, but I just want to look where the number is. How many times was Max Johnson sacked in this game?
He was sacked. Da, 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 sacked 5 times. 2 times.
Okay.
Excuse me. He only had 2 sacks. A&M forced 3 sacks. Tennessee had 2
Mhm.
sacks. But the biggest thing ended up being there was a punt return touchdown that Texas A&M
Yeah.
gave up, which if you take that out, Tennessee's offense is nothing better. I mean, Tennessee's
No.
offense
They
is just very lethargic.
mhm.
Milton is what he is. He's a guy that's going to inconsistent deep ball down the field. And then Tennessee, for some reason this year, and it might be just the receivers they have, but a
Mhm.
lot of drops. A
I was
lot of them.
that was
They
disgusting
had
to look
at
at. They
well, at
had
least a couple of them. One of them was a touchdown. He was
yeah.
walking into the end zone and he dropped it. Multiple drops. It's every week they have big drops too. Like
Mhm.
it's like all of Milton's good throws, they're drops.
Yeah.
It's, and then when Milton has like a guy wide open, then he'll miss him over. He'll deep shot it on it and
Yep.
miss him.
Mhm.
They're a run happy team,
They
which
run the ball. Like, they're good at it too.
it's crazy because I think we both talked about. At least I think I brought it up. A&M is one of the best rush
Mhm.
defenses in the country. Like they do not give up rushing yards. And they had limited Miami. They had limited Bama.
Yeah.
And what does Tennessee do?
Oh, well, they run it for 232 yards. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yep.
that's
I mean, tell me where that makes sense.
the thing. Here's the thing. A&M is bad,
Their defense
and
isn't though. That's the
no,
crazy thing.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is gonna suck to say, and this is just that team has given up.
You think?
I think so.
Okay.
They're 4-3.
Okay.
They look anemic on offense. They
Mhm.
looked tired on defense. I mean, it just it did it like when I was watching part of that game, it looked more like Tennessee was fumbling on their own mistakes than A&M was doing anything to
It
them.
was a very boring game to watch. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Great
Hmm.
atmosphere. Neyland's always awesome to look at, even as a
Yeah.
Georgia fan. Just looking at like the
Yeah, with the
checkerboard's
checker
awesome.
print and the
But
Rocky
my
Top
God, I mean,
everything.
it was just a lackluster game.
Hmm.
Max Johnson, I mean, 2 picks. I mean, he did what he could. He was under duress all day.
Yeah.
A&M only ran for 54 yards. They averaged under 2 yards a carry. Just,
I mean,
just not good. Not good at all. And you know, the biggest thing was the turnovers. I mean, they had one more than Tennessee, and honestly, I mean, I say the turnovers, but again, I want to go back to it. It's the punt, the kickoff, or the special teams
yeah.
return touchdown that Tennessee had was ended up being the difference maker.
Hmm. Well, that's what I mean. Is it's just like A&M was given opportunities by Tennessee and just nothing.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely nothing.
No, they
Like I mean, look, I mean, we could get more into it if we wanted to.
I.
I would love to get into it
How would
another
you?
time.
I'll let you.
Hmm.
I'll give you a look ahead.
Yeah.
2 questions,
Hmm.
and then we'll move on.
Okay.
We'll start with Tennessee.
Hmm.
Tennessee, they're 5-1,
Yeah.
2-1 in conference play.
Hmm.
They just ran the ball down A&M's throat
Yeah.
against a solid defense. A&M's a solid defense.
Yeah. Yeah. They got a decent
They,
defense. Yeah.
I thought they held up very well in the secondary. They
I
played against
the
a team. They
I think
held
A&M
their
is
own.
talent. I think A&M is a very talented
I
defense.
think A&M defensively is one of the better teams in the country.
Hmm.
I think again, like they're great up front. Walter Nolan had a tough injury. Looks like it's not going to be as bad as people were thinking.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's always good.
I just
But
don't know with A&M because it seems like every other week
it's it's
somebody finds some
it's
weird weakness that it's just like what?
it's honestly, I think it's more that the offense isn't holding up and they're
Mhm.
leaving the defense out to dry, and the
Yeah.
defense can only hold their own for so long. Use the damn reference again. They're
Mhm.
holding it, but there's cracks, and then eventually, like they can't do it anymore. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
So my question for you is:
Yes.
Jimbo Fisher is expected to make over $65 million going into next year. At what? How many more opportunities are the people they're going to give him
Mhm.
before they eventually say, "Here's the check. I'm writing the check. Here's your buyout.
Yeah.
You're gone."
I legitimately think we're closing in on it very quickly.
How many you think he gets? Do you think he's gone by? Do you think he's the coach next year?
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna pull up their schedule so I can look at it with me.
They
But
have LSU. I
mhm.
know they still have to play. They who else they have? South Carolina.
Mhm.
They still have Ole Miss. And they play Jacksonville State. Nice draw there.
Abilene Christian.
Abilene Christian. Who plays Jacksonville State then? Oh, I'm thinking of South Carolina.
Auburn. Yeah, South Carolina does.
South Carolina does.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look.
they're 4-3 right now.
Yes, they're 4-3. There's a chance they win out.
No.
I don't think that happens, but I mean, it's possible.
I think ceilings.
To me,
7
it's 6
wins.
wins.
7
To
wins.
me,
7. I think.
To me, I don't. I mean, yeah, I guess maybe 7. But look, I mean, they're gonna play South Carolina, and they're not because they don't win road games.
They win home games.
They win home games. So, like, right away, I would go, okay, so they're probably not going to beat Ole Miss or LSU on the road.
No.
So it comes down to South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Abilene Christian. You win
think
all 3 of those games, you win 7 games.
going into like a bowl game, that
Mhm.
who knows what happens there.
Oh, you go 8-4.
I know 7 wins.
8-5.
7 wins at this point.
Yeah,
They
I mean, look.
had their chance to really help themselves out
Mhm.
with, the Miami game. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You really blew your shot against Bama because you
Mhm.
had them, and then you lost it again.
Yep.
It's timeless. It's time after time. But I mean, how many opportunities are they going to keep giving Jimbo before they're like, "Listen, man, we're just not exceeding what you thought." I mean, we're going into years. This is year 6.
Yes, we're in year 6. He has a 43-24 record at A&M, so he's already tied the amount of losses in his entire time at Florida State.
Some people are saying that Jimbo was carried by Winston.
I mean, it looks like it. If you really look at the numbers, they've really underperformed every year outside of 2013 and 2014 with the talent they had on those rosters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had all-pro NFL guys on some of those rosters, and they barely hit 10 wins.
I mean, if tomorrow
Mhm.
that A&M job became available, it would be the most lucrative and seeking position by any coach in America, I think.
See, I would think that at first, but my initial thought would be, I don't think they're gonna have the money right away to give it to anybody. I
But I
think
just think that
if Texas A&M fires Jimbo Fisher, they're gonna be like, "Hey, we're gonna go into a 2-year just cycle of we're gonna slow down on expenditures. We're gonna bring back our,
Nah, see,
because they're dropping
that's just not how they're wired,
73.
though.
If they buy out Jimbo Fisher, it's $77 million.
I just think they're not wired like that. I'm like, they would be the A&M's one of those places where if you want something, they'll give it
Mhm.
to you. They'll get it to you.
Yeah. See, I would think that, but it's just like, I legitimately think if they drop the cash to buy out Jimbo, they're gonna go, we're not gonna be able to buy out a big time coach, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna hurt a lot of A&M fans' expectations when they hire like some random school's offensive coordinator as their head coach.
Let's
When
just
Bobby
upgrade Bobby Petrino. Let's
Bobby
upgrade,
Petrino becomes head coach of the
upgrade Petrino.
Actually, not the craziest thing that could happen.
Might be.
But I do 100% believe Jimbo Fisher does not make it through to this year.
I think he does.
The only reason I don't think he does is that he's already lost the fan base.
Yeah,
And once you lose the fan base, you immediately start losing money.
true.
And when you have no money, I mean, what can you do?
That's a good question for someone
Yeah.
that has more patience probably than an A&M fan.
Yeah.
All right, so my second question is before we move on.
Mhm.
Tennessee. Heupel gets his first ever win at Tennessee, maybe in his career, when he scores under 30 points.
Yep.
And they're just, the offense hasn't been in sync. It just feels like all year, like they're a run first team. If you can stop the run, you're probably going to win the game. But
Yeah.
as 5 other teams have shown, only Florida, out of the 6 games, only Florida's been the only team that's been able to do it, and that's
Mhm.
stop the run and keep them in check.
Yeah.
Now you got Bama going to Bama, third Saturday in October. Big time down in the South.
Yeah.
But the defense is good enough the line is good enough to get pressure on Milrow. Milrow gets sacked is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the country.
Mhm.
Tennessee is third in the country in sacks. Alabama's run D is pretty solid.
Yeah.
How quickly before we get, we'll get into the preview Thursday, but like 1 to 10, if you were a Tennessee fan, how confident should you be in your team going to Tuscaloosa?
6.
6?
Yes.
Okay.
Just because I think Tennessee is not the same Tennessee that lost to Alabama all those years in a row. And that last year wasn't a fluke by any stretch of the imagination. I think that Tennessee and Alabama are very much in equal realms
Yeah.
when it comes to SEC teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, look, right now, Georgia's at the top, right?
Yeah.
If we're looking at like a tiered system, Georgia's at the top. The next division is where you have your Alabama, Tennessee,
Missouri.
and LSU. Missouri's kind of there. They're like teetering.
5-1. 5-1. No, 6-1. Excuse me, 6-1.
They're teetering for me just because I mean,
they held their own against LSU, but
they lost.
well, I think LSU backs against the wall mentality there.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing you have to win.
If you're Missouri, you should have been like,
well,
their backs against the wall.
Well, they responded with a nice win at Kentucky. At Kentucky.
You should have pushed them through the wall. But anyways, let's move on before it gets too late.
All right, let's do North Carolina.
Yep.
North Carolina. The score may say 41-31, but
not that kind of score.
It was a lot bigger than that. If you did watch the game, North Carolina just really took it to Miami, as we kind of both thought. We thought Miami would, after what had happened against Georgia Tech, when they utterly just completely handed them gave themselves a loss. They go to North Carolina. Great atmosphere, as it always is there on Saturday night. Tez Walker, shout out the NCAA. They're just shivering in their boots watching that performance on Saturday as Tez Walker goes over 100 yards and receiving 3 touchdowns, puts the back, goes down, with the old U down. And Drake May has a great game.
Yeah.
Miami goes into the half with the lead, but then gets completely shut out. I think it was 24-0 run North Carolina went on.
Well, I'm looking at these numbers. Yes, they scored 24 unanswered.
24 unanswered, and the Miami had
17 at one point in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Miami had some junk time touchdown. Just great game by North Carolina. I think we got to start considering them a legit team.
Yeah.
But not only the ACC, they are a contender right now, I would say.
I think if North Carolina has an undefeated regular season, goes in, knocks off Florida State in the ACC championship, they should absolutely be a college football playoff team.
Oh, yeah.
They have all the prerequisites for it. They've looked fantastic this year. They have a Heisman-esque level quarterback.
I think it's mostly the transformation of the defense is just something that people, I think, really need to just take a look at. Yeah. It's not like they changed coordinators either. Gene Chizik is still there. They were not good last year on defense.
No, they were not.
This year, they're tied for 41st in the country, but they're only allowing about 21 points a game on defense. Just about 126. Oh, no, that's 126 points. Not many yards a game. And if they are giving up yards, they're keeping teams in check by not letting them score.
Yeah.
They're getting after the quarterback. They're getting turnovers. And vice versa, they can lean on a running game that's very good. Drake May is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. He'll be a top 5 pick in the draft.
Yep.
Tez Walker now with all those other weapons. This is a good team. Maybe great team. We're getting on the precipice of great. They got to win another couple games, but
I do think they should be ranked above Alabama in the AP poll. Let me just say that.
They are at 10 right now, aren't they?
Yes, but I've seen some people disagree and go, "Oh, they should be
I
12."
think. Well, I think that you got to look at it from a power rating standpoint, as if like you
Mhm.
take the two teams on a neutral field tomorrow.
Yes.
Alabama's going to be a favorite in that
Mhm.
10 times out of 10. I mean, it
Yeah.
just is what it is. So,
Mhm.
and a rating doesn't have anything to do with rankings or
Yeah.
who you've played. It's just it takes into account everything. There's no bias here within it. It's just like this team's better would be a ranked or spread wise higher than North Carolina. I think
I
maybe
I
that
I
has
mean,
to
I
do with
get
North Carolina.
that, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like if we're really doing it by power ratings, probably Alabama would be a top 5 team in the country.
Um, no,
Because
right at
I
this
think they
point,
would be
no.
favored. I think they'd be favored over a lot of schools.
Do you think they'd be favored over Texas?
Yes.
No,
I think
no.
they'd be favored over Texas, Penn State, Oregon, probably Florida State.
Let's see. I'm gonna look up Josh Pate's most recent power ratings as I scour the internet. No, I'm just
Mhm.
teasing. I'm not doing that. What's your biggest thing looking at the Miami perspective? You lose the
Yep.
tough one, just unexplainable loss
Mhm.
to Georgia Tech, and now you lose a game where some people may have thought bounce back game, possibly. Let's show them what we got.
Mhm.
Instead, you really got handed another L by
Yeah.
a better team. I think Miami's still going to be able to compete. They got Clemson on deck, but you got to change focus now. You're not going to go to the ACC title game. What do you think as a Miami player? How do you approach the rest of the season?
That's a fantastic question because I think a lot of them were thinking we're going to the ACC championship this year after week 2. Um, so if I'm a Miami player, I'm thinking let's just go to a bowl game at this point.
Right?
Like, let's just fight for some sort of postseason and just pride itself. I mean, if I'm looking at the schedule right now, I think they'll probably end up losing to Clemson
Yeah.
just because I don't think they're as good as Clemson. Just all around, I think Clemson's been up and down this year, but I still think they're a more talented team.
Hmm.
If you're Miami, it's just you're already 0-2 in conference play. You're at the very bottom of the ACC already.
Hmm.
You got to go. You got to go to NC State, to Florida State. It's just not a fun schedule for them this year. Like this
No.
back half,
No.
and people don't even talk about it. But they got to play. They got to play back to back. They got to go to NC State, to Florida State, and then they get Louisville at home, and then they have to go to Boston College.
It's
That's not a fun schedule
no.
at all.
No. I pulled up the most recent
Mhm.
JP poll from shout out Josh Pate again, as we
Yeah.
always like to do. Shout out,
Shout out
great college football
Pate
guy,
State.
Pate State material.
Mhm.
Bama is right now. This is the JP poll. It's based off
Yep.
power ratings. It's not a ranking system. Bama is at number 6.
Yep.
North Carolina number 11.
Yep. I knew it would be like that.
So Bama is so it goes Michigan, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon.
Mhm.
So based off of that, those 5 teams would be favored over Bama.
Yeah.
Teams that would not be favored over Bama on a neutral site field today. I'll just say the following 5 behind them.
Yep.
Washington, Oklahoma, Penn State, Florida State, and North Carolina.
Yeah.
So
I had a feeling it'd be like that. Yeah.
Miami is at 21, if you're wondering. A&M's at 16. Just letting everyone
That's crazy.
know.
That's the craziest part about that. A&M 16.
A little fun stat for you here. North Carolina had 508 total yards.
Mhm.
Miami is right behind it, but a lot of junk time stuff.
Yeah.
North Carolina rushed for 235 yards compared to Miami's 91. Miami is a pretty solid run D team.
Mhm.
But then, you're like, okay, limit the run. And then all of a sudden, North Carolina was just popping off big run after big run.
Yeah.
And North Carolina had 14 penalties for 147 yards and still managed to do what they did, which is crazy. Normally, if you do that,
You're
it's
losing
either
this
it's a
football.
tight game and
Yeah.
you're just squeaking it out or you're losing. But listen, Miami
Mhm.
is in a tough spot. I think that they're in a better tough spot than A&M is. But as we're focused
Yeah.
on North Carolina,
Well,
though,
because I
a
think at least
lot
with
to play
Miami,
for.
you're going. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, if you're North Carolina, you're thinking, hey, we're going to win national championship this year.
Listen to the rest of the schedule. You ready? Virginia,
Hmm.
Georgia Tech,
Yep.
the Fighting
Yep.
Camels of Campbell, Duke
Hmm.
at home, and then
Yep.
they have at Clemson, and then at an NC State.
I mean, those last 3
Mhm.
games aren't going to be easy for them, but
But that's a manageable schedule. They can work
absolutely.
around there.
Mhm.
Very schedule.
Was Clemson in Death Valley or was it?
It's at
Is it
Clemson,
in?
that game.
That's not good for North Carolina, man. But that's
Well,
the only
see,
one where I'm like, ooh,
well, listen, this time they'll be prepared for Kate Klubnik. They weren't last year in the ACC title game, so
you're right. That was funny. That's probably the
they,
funniest thing I've ever heard from a head coach.
at least he
We
was
just didn't
honest
think
about
he'd
it.
play. Like, let's be honest, man. We didn't think he'd play at all.
Let's be honest. He's like, we did not prepare, guys. We did not prepare at all. All right, we are going to
Uh,
move on to our final
mhm.
game before we move on to some overreaction and winners and
Yeah.
losers of the week. I will quickly get through
Mhm.
this
Yeah, I didn't
as
watch it. I'll
fast
just
as
be
I
honest
can.
with you guys.
It's okay. Listen, casual. Just teasing. Just
Yep.
teasing.
Casual. I'm just,
Just teasing. He's all right. We all
oh
love
my
Dylan.
gosh.
Anyway, Florida gets a monumental win if you're a
Mhm.
Gator fan at South Carolina during Cocktober. Lot of Florida fans said after the game though it's what do they say? It's cocked over. That's what they said.
Not the most
And
creative fan base.
no, but nevertheless, thank God they don't need corny jokes to win a football game.
Oh
Otherwise,
yeah.
they would have been not winning. They won. They were down 10 points with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
And I, for one, believed that South Carolina had this in hand, even though their defense had struggled all game. Rattler played really well, as he usually has this year.
Mhm.
But the big story is, and has to be, Graham Mertz. I mean, Mertz, I was been waiting on a game where they would need him to show up in a big
Mhm.
way, where the run game really didn't get going again, which is always surprising because it's like, Florida wants to run the ball. Again, they failed to run for over 100 yards. They only ran for 71. They got outgained 152 to 71. But Graham Mertz went 30 of 48, 423 yards in
Okay.
this game. He had 3 touchdowns. Ricky Pearsall, another transfer from
Mhm.
Florida. He was there last year, though. But 10
He's like
catches, career
40.
day 166 yards, and a touchdown.
Mhm.
The two guys that Florida needed to show up showed up, and they got a huge win. And Napier gets a big time win on the road. He had entered this game. He was 1 for 7
Yep.
in career home or neutral site games, or road or neutral site games. He needed it in a big way, especially now you head into the bye. You can
Mhm.
kind of build off that. You're 5-2. You're 3-1 in conference play. I mean, they they are in a good spot. I think we both thought that, listen, South Carolina would be able to pull this off. It would be a
Yeah.
close game, but they'd be able to hold on.
Mhm.
But listen, Florida got a big win. And now I
Yeah.
think we were both trying to ask that question. And you don't even need to watch the game to know like how bad they had struggled on the road
I
compared to
mean,
at home. It was bad.
the numbers are just ridiculous. What was it? 1-7.
1-7.
1-7 in true road games.
They have only I think this was probably the 6th or 7th game since 2021
Mhm.
where where they got a road or neutral site win.
Yeah.
So they
They've
needed it in the
struggled.
biggest way.
Yeah, they've struggled to win against anybody outside the swamp.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. But listen, South Carolina, the defense struggled again.
Mhm.
you can't give up. You can't blow a lead like that. I mean, again, Rattler played awesome. 23 of 30, 313, 4 touchdowns. He threw a pick on the final drive. Xavier Legette, another 5 receptions for 110. I mean, Florida had 8, or no, that was South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina hurt themselves with penalties, 82 penalty yards. But listen, I mean, I think we just really need to understand how, I mean, Florida completed 3 out of 4 on fourth down, including 2 massive ones on the final drive when they ended up taking the lead. A 4th and 10. And it was a 4th and 10, and it was a 4th and like a medium-ish. But kudos to Florida. Graham Mertz got a big-time win, a big-time performance, career high in passing yards. But now I think the real test shows up for Florida. After the bye, you got Georgia. You go to the cocktail party. I'd be curious to see how that offense plays against a defense that ranks 7th in the country in scoring defense. The last time I checked, Georgia's only allowing 14 points a game on defense. For as little pressure as we get on the quarterback, they still don't give up points. Georgia's ranked 9th in the country in passing, or in scoring offense. Beck is 4th in the country in passing yards, by the way, if you're wondering. Anyway, but listen, if after Georgia you have Arkansas, you're at LSU, at Missouri, and Florida State. So you got you have 1, 2, 3 for counting the neutral site, 3 road games, even though technically they're the home team. 3 road games for a team that struggles on the road. In your opinion, do you think they can keep that go momentum or whatever they found on Saturday going into these other games? Because that's Missouri, at LSU, and in Jacksonville. Not to mention Florida State coming to town.
Look, I just even in Florida's good years, they struggled to win at Missouri.
Everyone struggles to play at Missouri.
But like specifically Florida, that place is a house of horrors.
Oh yeah.
Like Dan Mullen had some good teams go into Missouri and come out weathered. Like they came out like looking like they had just been through a war.
Oh yeah.
Like sunken in eyes, just distraught. So I mean, I want to say they found something, but at the same time,
they can't rely on Mertz. It seems like the run game has hit a brick wall or something, and you're not going to be able to run the ball very well next week at Georgia.
Yeah.
So again, because Florida's defense struggles still, very much so. They are still not very good.
Yeah.
You let South Carolina just run up and down the field on you. Like they still have some spots where they lack.
Yeah.
Let's just call it like that. And even with Bowers out, Georgia has plenty of weapons to eat you alive.
Yeah.
And now Deshaun Edwards is getting back to himself. He had a career rushing day this past week against Vanderbilt. You're getting Kendall Milton back. Georgia will beat you. It's a big game, so they're not going to sleepwalk. In theory, they'll be ready for this one.
Yeah.
But I expect a much different Georgia team than the one you saw Saturday in Jacksonville. So it's going to be up for Graham Mertz. He won't. If he turns the ball over, it's over.
It's over.
He has to be able to make plays, get outside the pocket. If he has to, it means running the football, doing whatever. He's got to find Pearsall. Pearsall was quiet in the game last year against them. He's got to be a target because they don't have Henderson, and Caleb Douglas hasn't really done much so far, but
yeah,
it'll be an interesting one for sure. But I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah.
Sweet. We'll get into the cocktail party preview next week.
Yes.
I can't wait. I'll be there. Boots on the ground in enemy territory. I can't freaking wait. I can't wait, Dylan. Anyway, we will be moving on, though, to overreaction time.
Yes.
Our favorite segment of the week.
Yes.
Called Overreaction or No, where I make up a bunch of random
Mhm.
accusations or points or whatever you want to call them, and we
Mhm.
decide if it's
An
pump,
overreaction or not?
yeah, pump the brakes or that makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll allow it. So I got 4 this week.
Mhm.
I'll just start from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Speaking of Georgia, so Brock Bowers gets banged up. He's out for
Mhm.
at least 4 to 6 weeks. He had surgery yesterday, I believe. A
Yeah.
tightrope surgery on his high ankle sprain. Anyway, so he's going to be out for at least, in theory, best case scenario, he'll be out till at least the Tennessee game, which would be
Yeah.
put you around the 4 to 5 week spot.
Mhm.
You know, most that's the best case scenario, I think.
Yeah.
Worst case is out for at least the SEC up until the SEC title game if they get there, and would be in the bowl season.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, unless you're competing for a national title or maybe a big time bowl game like a New Year's Six,
Mhm.
I would maybe think about not playing anyway because he's about 98%. I'm to me, I think he's about 98. Or to me, at least, it's about 98% that he's gonna go pro
Yeah.
next year. Why wouldn't he?
Mhm.
So my question is: Brock Bowers' injury will hurt Georgia's chances of a national title.
Not an overreaction.
Okay.
I do think that just any team losing your best weapon
Yeah.
hurts, especially since Georgia has spent a ton of time this season just working him into the every offensive game plan they have been like,
Mhm.
just get Brock Bowers the ball, the
Yep.
yards after the catch, right? That's Brock Bowers' power
Oh yeah.
in that Georgia offense. So losing any type of weapon like that
Hmm.
can turn you from having a game plan for everybody to being like, all right, guys, what the hell do we do against Missouri?
I I'm gonna say not an over or is a wait no probable hurt not an overreaction.
Hmm.
I think that they have enough weapons
Yeah.
with McConkey's coming back. He's
Hmm.
getting back. It was only his 3rd game back.
Yeah.
He's going to be probably more utilized.
Hmm.
Ra Thomas. You have Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint.
Yeah.
Dominic Lovett just scored his first touchdown. I mean, you brought in 2 guys, uh, 2 of the top SEC wide receivers from last year into the system for reasons like this,
Hmm.
where you need guys to step up. You have them. You know, Dylan Bell, he's still there. You still have so where I'm looking at is the tight end room where Oscar Delp's going to have to step up now. He's a
Hmm.
sophomore. You have behind that you have Pierce Spurlin, Lawson Lucky, who are both freshmen.
Yeah.
But honestly, where Bowers is really people don't really realize how good he's at is the run blocking,
Yeah.
downhill blocking, sealing the edges. It's not Darnell Washington, but he did a great job. He does a great job at blocking, and that's going to be a spot where they've got to figure that out.
Hmm.
And you know, obviously,
Do some.
a loss like that is monumental because he is just like you said, he's an integral part of the offense.
Everything they do on
Yeah,
offense. So.
because even when he's not getting the ball, he's
Hmm.
getting 2 or 3 defenders going his way to free another
Yeah.
guy up. I still think Carson Beck, who has been playing out of his mind, is good enough to get everybody else involved. I think look for Ra Thomas and Rosemary Jack Saint to step up and
Hmm.
have big games going forward. That would be number 1, Rosemary Jack Saint, and number 5 is Ra Thomas. Look for if you ever watch a Georgia game, look
Yeah.
for those guys going forward. I think
Okay.
they're going to step up. I think Oscar Delp's going to be fine. I think he's pretty much a mini Brock Bowers. So
Hmm.
he's kind of like what Jalen Carter was with Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
Oscar Delp is one freak. So look for him to get rolling too. I think they're going to be all right. They're going to be fine. 3 Peats on deck still. Anyway, Washington, Dylan, should be the favorite after Saturday's win to win the title.
Overreaction. Like, just slow down. All right. They had a great win against Oregon.
Yep.
But Oregon could have easily won that game.
They could have.
I mean, if they hit that field goal and they
Some
take
are
it to
saying
overtime,
that. Some are. I'm not on. This isn't me.
Mhm.
There's some people in the college world that are saying, the media world, that are saying that this Washington team is a reincarnation of the 2019 LSU team.
well, they need to sit down. They need to sit down.
These are media people in the industry.
Well, they need to retire.
Uh,
But there's a good team, and they very well could go all the way. But slow down on making them the favorite to go. It's like, whoa.
I'm gonna look up current national title odds according to our
I would
sports
guess
book.
they have number 6.
We're gonna look here. Yeah, I'm gonna say overreaction as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like you said, they held on. As great of
Mm-hmm.
a game as they played, they held on by the skin of
Yeah.
their teeth. They currently are plus 950. That would be the 5th best odds. They
Okay.
sit behind Ohio State at plus 900.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State's at 850, and then Georgia and Michigan are both at 270.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State right behind there at plus 1300. They got a huge game this weekend.
Yeah, this is a program definer for Penn State this weekend.
But back to Washington real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, overreaction. Like we were talking about in the beginning of the show, like they have a lot still to play for.
Mm-hmm.
Let's come back. And as far as the 2019 LSU thing, stop it. Every year,
Yeah,
feels
we
like
have
every
this
year
every year.
there's a team that's a really good offense,
Mhm.
and we're like, that's that team. It's another team like that. Just wait.
Yep.
And then nothing happens. So
Yeah.
Missouri, Dylan, the Fighting Tigers of Missouri, Dylan's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
They're the second best team in the SEC East.
Overreaction.
Wow. Okay, let's hear it.
I still want to lean Tennessee.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They play each other in a couple weeks. I think
Yeah.
Tennessee has to go to Missouri.
Mm-hmm. Again, House of Horrors.
Yes.
Nah, I don't. You never want to go to Missouri.
Columbia.
Yeah.
I'm going to say not an overreaction.
That's fair. I think that's
Not
I
a
think this is
overreaction.
absolutely a coin flip.
Listen, Brady Cook is 6th right now in passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense is one of the more explosive offenses in the country.
Yeah.
Very, very good. They're 34th in the country in passing yards, or not passing yards, in scoring offense.
Mm-hmm.
So they're scoring a lot of points. Their defense is subpar. We'll call it that. But they went to Kentucky this weekend, a team that is known for their defense and running the football. And they crushed Kentucky.
Yeah.
17-point win there. That's not just a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like to look ahead, but listen, they have South Carolina this week. If they win this week, they hit their win total for the season.
Yeah.
They came in 6.5. Your boy here has 6.5. Missouri on the win total scale, but they win this week. They get a bye, and then while Georgia's hanging out with Florida, Missouri's resting before they got to go to Athens. A potential 7-1, 8-0 showdown in Athens.
Yeah.
Just saying, look out for that.
That's possible.
The Tigers, they are the second best team.
Missouri.
I would rank it go Georgia, Missouri, Tennessee, Florida. Even though I think Tennessee would, if they played again, I think Tennessee would win.
Yeah.
I would go Tennessee, Florida. It's no knack on Florida. Don't come after me, Florida fans. Florida, Kentucky, Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Yep.
South Carolina after Kentucky, right?
I would put South Carolina ahead of them.
Okay.
No, check that. I'll put them behind them because the defense is bad. But I do think South Carolina's offense is good.
Yeah.
All right. Final one here.
Okay.
Before we get into winners and losers of the week, and we will wrap this show up a little over time here. But USC will lose at least 2 more times this year. Yes or no? You
It's
want
a
to say it
hard
so bad. I know you do. Just say it. Just say it. Just say it. He's the biggest supporter of USC too.
overreaction.
Oh, you stinker. You couldn't you
No.
just had to give in to your fandom.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You think they're gonna beat Oregon? You think they're not gonna lose 2 more times?
I think they're going to beat one of the two.
So they got to go to Oregon, and they got Washington that comes to them. But they also have USC or Utah this upcoming week at
Yeah.
home.
But I think they
And
beat Utah. Like, I know we had the whole thing. I just don't think Utah's offense is going to be able to really do anything.
I think we'll preview that one
Yeah.
Thursday. I can't see them beating Oregon or Washington.
Mm-hmm. I understand
Washington and
why.
Oregon's defense are both better, and their
Mhm.
offenses are going to be able to put up points. I don't think it's a turnover, like a 28-point loss,
Yeah.
but it's not. I mean, it may be a shootout, but I don't see them coming out on the winning side.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think they have a better chance in the Washington game than the Oregon game.
We'll see. We'll see.
And if that happens, chaos, legitimate chaos.
Oregon ranks first in the country in scoring offense. And
Mhm.
USC is second.
Yeah.
Washington is tied for fifth right now. All right. So I say not an overreaction for those two reasons right there.
And you're a hater.
No, I'm not a hater. You're the one buying the Notre Dame shirt. I'm not.
Okay.
I speak the truth here.
Yeah.
People like to refer to me as a prophet in a sense, where I speak the truth and I see things before everyone else does. I'm just saying.
That was wild.
Wildly
That
right.
was wild.
Wildly right. Tuesday
Oh,
night takes with Hunter. Who's
okay.
bored right now?
Okay. Okay.
All right. We're gonna wrap the show up here
Mhm.
with winners and losers winners and losers of the week,
Yeah.
as we always do. My winners are Graham Mertz and
Mhm.
Tez Walker. Graham
Okay.
Mertz finally had a big game we have been waiting on, and he finally did it when his
Yep.
team needed it the most. When they said, "Listen, you're down 10 with 9 minutes to go. We need you to go win the game," and he was. So, kudos to Graham Mertz. Really liked what I saw. And as far as Tez Walker go, it's just a big middle finger right to the Indianapolis and all those old timers up there,
Mhm.
just crying and shivering in their boots watching what Tez Walker did to Miami on Saturday. Just awesome to see. Love it for the kid who thought maybe he wasn't going to be able to play this year, and now
Yeah.
look at him. A big time performance, 3 touchdowns, and he's got UNC right where they want to be in the driver's seat. Winners, Dylan, who are they?
So I had my two winners let me pull this up. So I had Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame finally getting that big marquee win for the program. Big win for him. And then I had Billy Napier,
Oh, big time value.
overcoming
Can
his
I
doubters, including myself.
can I say something real quick?
Yeah, say it.
I started laughing my ass off watching mid game interviews with coaches is some of the
Mhm.
funniest stuff on the planet.
Yeah.
Listening to Napier talk for one, just Napier as an example, he sounds like he's just saying, "Well, the offense is good. Just give me a cigarette, darling, because I just need one." Like
Yeah.
he just talks like it's the funniest thing in the world. It's
Yeah.
nothing he says. It's just how he talks. Shane Beamer's on the other side there interviewing him. He's having a temper tantrum. Kirby
Mhm.
Smart, I mean, he's serious as can be. Nick Saban's always a fun one. Like, these are so much fun to watch. Marcus Freeman had a meltdown at halftime. It was just awesome stuff. But kudos to Napier. That was right. I just wanted to. So, I'm sorry. I had to say that.
No,
It
it's
was just
funny.
good stuff.
I've listened to Napier talking every time. I'm like, that's his voice?
If you're ever bored, folks, go watch Billy Napier talk. It's just funny. He just talks funny. He talks like
It's not what
hey,
you'd be expecting.
you need a cigarette. I just looking in for a Marlboro Rat and a pack of Keystone and some Marlboro red cigarettes, please.
Mhm.
My losers, Caleb Williams, tough one.
Yeah.
3 picks. He had a fumble responsible for 2. He was responsible for 4 turnovers in a game where he needed to be big. against a defense that was really good, and he was unable to do that. He had his worst game of his career,
Mhm.
and he was really responsible for why they lost because the defense held up.
Yeah.
It was on Caleb Williams. We'll
Mhm.
see how he bounces back this week against another really tough defense,
Yeah.
a defense that has had his number
Mhm.
in the past. So Caleb Williams is 0-2 against Utah. So
Yep.
just saying. But we'll see how he bounces back. And
Mhm.
Jimbo Fisher, Jimbo,
Ah.
just can't get the win again, falls up short. I think this is the starting of that dam reference I just keep using.
Yeah.
That's one of the there were some cracks. This is another one. And it's soon the water, you might start seeing a little drip here and there.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of time before the big one happens and the entire dam breaks through and the water
Yeah.
comes rushing down. It's tough. It's tough down in College Station because they have the resources, they got the players.
Yeah.
I mean, even the quarterback situation, I think is fine, good enough. But
Mhm.
there's something I don't know if it's Jimbo. I don't know if whatever it is. It's something internal, and he has yet again failed to get a big win. So
So, I mean, I hate to say it, I also had Jimbo Fisher. My only disagreement with you is I think the dam is already broken.
they're putting band-aids up to try to reattach it.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're past Band-Aids at this point. They're putting up like tape. Like they're struggling. They're like, oh, put up the wax tape. Oh no, not doing anything.
They're
Well,
putting up the
put a Bobby Petrino sized Band-Aid on it.
they're putting up the
It's
sandbags
already
after
wet.
they're putting the sandbags up while the water's already through.
Yeah. Only because I think he's already lost the fan base. I think if when you talk to A&M fans, they're like, well, when we get our next coach,
Right?
and that's never a good thing when your school hasn't fired the previous guy. And just his career record at A&M being 43-24, which is worse than what's his name? Uh, yeah,
Kevin
Kevin
Sumlin.
Sumlin's record at the same time.
Mhm.
Just saying, man.
Who was your other loser?
I had Dan Lanning
Oh, come on. We can't be
losing the
giving that.
back-to-back years against Washington.
Well, last year,
They
actually, it's
lost to
kind of funny.
Washington.
They both came down to like questionable
Yeah.
fourth down calls.
Yep.
But Bo Nix did get banged up at the end of that one last year. To be
Yeah,
fair.
but still, you lose to your biggest rival back-to-back years in games that, very, very likely could implicate
But it's
your
not
chance at
like
the college football playoff.
I would. But it's not like some of these other teams where like Jimbo, where it's
Mhm.
has anything after that.
Yeah.
I think what Lanning's got going
Mhm.
is really good.
No, I agree too.
Yeah.
I just mean loser of the week.
Yeah.
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 Jimbo is loser of the year.
I'm surprised you didn't say your boy Lincoln Riley.
No, I didn't just because I'm like,
Ah,
okay.
that's because you're. Hey, put it up. Come on, Dylan. Fight on. Fight, fight on. Fight
Come on,
on.
guys, fight on.
You
I wanna
see
get
Sam?
out
You
there,
see,
man. Let's go.
see that picture with Sam Hartman doing this? He's like,
Yeah. I don't like Sam Hartman anymore, man. He's like
man,
38,
look at him
38-year-old college student. He's been playing college football since I was a freshman in high school.
busting out the Stetson Bennett jokes. Are we now?
It's not even a Stetson Bennett joke anymore, man. He's been playing legitimately since I was a freshman in high school.
People don't talk about this, but Will Rogers, who's been in the league college for like 5 years now, has another year of eligibility still if he wanted
Yep.
to.
Mhm.
People don't talk about that, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, his first year was 2018.
Nice.
Sam Hartman.
But, Bo Nix played his freshman year, played Justin Herbert. So
That was 2019, wasn't it?
2018.
No, it was 2019.
It was
Sure.
2019. Pardon
Yeah.
me. Yep. All right. Anyway,
So that
no,
would still be, yeah. Yeah, because Herbert got drafted in the COVID year.
that's right. That's right. Apologize again.
No, you're good.
All right.
I'm a Herbert fan. Come on.
Well, he just didn't do it last night. Anyway.
I still won in fantasy, buddy. Did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't. You shut your mouth. 0-6.
3-3.
0-6.
I'm a playoff team.
Austin Eckler needed a point. He
I
got tackled.
saw that you lost by like 1 point, and I was
He
like,
got tackled at the 1 yard line in the fourth
Mhm.
quarter. Would have scored a touchdown and would have won, but he didn't. And I failed him up short. We're gonna have to regroup, and we'll have to lose again next week. So
I mean, what at this point I gotta ask you because what will happen if you lose last place in this league?
I don't even know what it is.
The wing challenge?
Oh, is that what it is still?
Yeah, I think
Oh.
so.
I'll have to discuss that off air. Listen, I am mentally prepared for anything. Wings are the least of my concern. I can take.
Oh, man.
I'll take that. As bad as it's going to be, I'll take it. It's just a tough one. We're going to have to regroup. Season's not done yet. There's plenty of bad teams in the Div League.
Yeah.
We just got to get one. We just got to get one, and we'll build from there.
Yeah, maybe you'll face the Mahomie team.
Listen, you never know. Never know. Probably not.
Put up like 160 the other day, and I was like, he's got to be cheating at this point, man. This is collusion.
He's not. All right. Anyway, we're
Actually,
getting
yeah, different topic, but that one trade was definitely collusion.
off. Probably.
That wide receiver for running back trade that got vetoed, that was collusion. Absolutely. That was collusion.
Well, yeah, that's a great off the air issue right there. But, oh yeah, that's private. That's off the airways.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say names or anything like that, but
no. But what we will talk about is make sure you guys are subscribing, watching the news video. It'll be out. Remember, Thursday's episode, good one. Great week of football coming up. We will have it all break down for you Thursday. Subscribe, watch. We'll see you Thursday.
Yep.
Peace out, guys.
All right. See you guys.